Welcome to Muscle Maintenance with InShape Fitness. I'm Kim Watkins. I will be your trainer for this level 2 difficulty workout for January 29th. Let's jump right on into it. And a warm up today involves the same two moves we did yesterday, jumping jacks and what we call an I stick, which is a total body isometric contraction move with your arms above your head. But let's start with that jumping jacks warm up. And of course, keep it to your level in terms of how hard you want to go. If you want to lift your arms up all the way over top of your head, which I recommend in order to fully warm up the body. But if you're aerobic already and you want to make it kind of a power jack double time, your jacks, just remember to keep a bend in your knee, land lightly on the balls of your feet, and 30 seconds is going to start now. Go ahead, jumping your feet out wide, arms up over your head, no wet noodles. Make sure you keep your arms fairly straight. Rotating the arms up through the shoulder, warming up the back, activating neurotransmitters all through the body by virtue of the jumping component. 10 seconds to go. Great workout in store for you today. We are obviously taking the series that we started with yesterday, the fundamentals that we really build, we're going to build on all week long. And now you're going to bring your feet together, stop jumping, keep breathing. Lift your arms up over your head and press your palms into each other above your head with your biceps at or behind your ears. I'm starting the time now. 30 seconds is on the clock. Make sure that your back is straight. Your tailbone is tucked in. You want your pelvis completely vertical. You want to contract all of the muscles in your legs, starting with your legs, working up. Squeeze your butt cheeks. Really squeeze those pelvic floor muscles. Where you're, if you're a girl, you're doing a Kegel, you've got 10 more seconds to go, and then we're going to start the first set. We've got 2 sets to work on today. The first set will be a little slower because it's instructional. I have to make sure you know exactly what to do, and then through, make sure you listen up to all the details, and in the second set, it's going to be a flow set where we go from 30-second move to 30-second move with as little time in between as possible. Okay. First set going to start with high knee kicks. Yesterday we did a high knee march, and we are starting with high knee kicks today. Okay, so that means that your back is straight. If you want to bring your arms, like make fists and bring your arms kind of up, this will actually help you with the next move as well. But sort of protecting your face like you were a kickboxer, you're going to lift the right knee, kick out the right foot, put it back down on the floor, and then alternate with the left leg. Okay, let's start the 30 seconds now. Make sure you keep your back straight, squeeze your tummy muscles. You want active engagement of your core, because lifting up through that hip and kicking out, if you flex your foot, you're going to feel it all the way up the back of your body. You really want to develop power through the core, because it's that lower ab and hip strength that gives you the power to actually, well, if you're like, wanting to kick through a wall, it would be through that energy source. You're not going to get a lot of power just by the lower leg making contact with something else. And on that note, we're done. Now we're going to do a punch. So separate your feet to shoulder width apart, bend your knees a little bit, sit down a couple of inches, just sort of in that bounce. Like yesterday we did the boxing stance where you just rotated your shoulders backwards and forwards. Now you're making fists. Just like we did yesterday. Keep the elbows, and when you're in the ready position, your elbows are down close to your ribs. And now you're going to punch with the right arm, punch with the left arm. And when you punch, you want to target contact with the second knuckle sort of area, right? The squared off knuckle area, right down in the middle, as though you were aiming for someone right in front of you, someone's heart right in front of you. 30 seconds is on the clock now. It's going. And this is just a stationary punch. 30 seconds. It's not a lot of time. In boxing classes, we will sometimes do this move itself for several minutes, and you really fatigue the arms. But this is just a good upper body repetitive movement that helps build a little bit of a heart rate boost. It works your shoulders. When you really focus on the control, you're working that rotation through your core, and you're controlling your arms. You're actually working your shoulders, working your chest a little bit. You've got 3 seconds more. And good. Okay, now we're going to do a modified burpee. Yesterday we did a squat down, all the way down, touch the floor, and then stand up and reach up with your hands. What I want you to do today is squat all the way down, put your hands on the floor beside your feet, step 1 foot back, then the other, where you're in push-up position here. Then bring your feet back up underneath your body. Try to keep your back sort of curled because you don't want to bend over. You want your knees to come up underneath your body. Then squeeze your glutes and press your heels into the floor to stand all the way up and reach up to the ceiling. Okay, 30 seconds is going. You're only going to do a couple of these. 4, I would say, or 5 in 30 seconds. I just did a little test to see if I could do 6 of them, and even for me moving fairly quickly with the walking component, the 5 might be the max. So hang in there. Just keep going. And if you can't do the walkout part, you can obviously still do the squat down, reach up part. Okay, good. Today we're going to do next a forward lunge. That means you're going to take a big step out with your right leg. You're going to bend both knees to 90 degrees, keeping your torso completely straight. You want your body to go straight down. Then push off with that front foot, back to start, and then alternate with the left leg. Okay? And 30 seconds is going. Hands on your hips or hands out to your sides if you prefer for balance. Either way, if you need to go back to the modified version, then you just make those knee bends, coming up straight and then bending back down. We're coming up on the halfway point now, so if you are doing the yesterday's version, the lower level, you want to switch foot position now. 10 more seconds. You're doing great. Couple moves on the floor to finish up the first set, and then we'll start the second set in about a minute and a half. Okay, now sit down on the floor. Put your hands on the floor beside your butt, kind of behind your butt, fingers facing forward so that your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Your knees are bent, your feet are on the floor. Now you're going to do something called crab kicks today. That means you're going to lift up the right knee, kick out the right foot, then put the foot back down on the floor, then lift the left knee and kick out the left foot. And alternate, keeping your hips high, making that tabletop the entire time. Okay, let's go. 30 seconds is running now. These are fun. I love this position. Just having the chest sort of facing your ceiling, working that awkward position in terms of your shoulders. Now, if you have rotator cuff issues, even like a tennis elbow kind of a thing, you might strain yourself too much in this position, and I would say you can either do something, you can lower your body down to your forearms and do these kicks like in a hip bridge, modified hip bridge, or by the way you're finished on these, you can just do tricep dips on a bench. That would be another modification that you could handle here. Okay, hands behind your head. Let's finish up with a bent knee crunch. We're coming up on 8 minutes exactly right now. Knees are bent with your feet in the air. Take a deep breath in, exhale, lift your head, your shoulders, your rib cage up off the floor as high as you can and back down. Good. Good. I reminded you or mentioned to you yesterday at the end of the workout that if these are fun workouts and it's so much fun planning them. If you've been following the workout series long and you know what I'm about to do like for the next couple of days, send us a note, get in touch with us on the community at Facebook or Twitter, and shoot me a note to indicate what you think you're going to end up having to do on Thursday or Friday of this week, and you could win some free Skype training time with me in the coming months. Okay, stand up for me. You've got a couple of seconds here as a breather. Finish with the first set. We're starting the second set in 3 seconds. High knee kicks coming up, and go. 30 seconds underway here. Make sure you're protecting your face with your forearms. You've got your forearms up. You're making fists in that kickboxer sort of protection stance. Lifting up the knee, kicking out the foot with a flexed foot in order to activate the back of the leg. And breathing. In through your nose, out through your mouth. You've got 6 seconds. Hang in there. Very nice. And now we're going to go into that stationary punch. So go ahead and make sure your feet are separated shoulder width apart, toes and heels in line, and punch. Make those fists. Make sure that as you pull the arm back in after you punch, you withdraw it, retract it back down to that position where you're protecting your rib cage, so your elbow stays close to your body. You don't want your elbows out like wings. You want them down, protecting the rib cage. That's what a boxer does. You always have to protect your core. And in that way. You also want to make sure you've engaged your core. You really want to squeeze your ab muscles throughout. 3 seconds more. Modified burpee coming up, and go. Squat all the way down. Put your hands on the floor beside your feet. Walk your feet back into push-up position. Stand all the way up. Reach up, and then go right back down to the next modified burpee. This represents the third of our moves in this series. That means there are 3 more moves for the workout. We'll finish up right around 12 and a half minutes, just under 13 minutes, I guess, is probably my best guess here. You've got about 5 more seconds for your burpees, so finish up the one that you're on. Hopefully you were able to do 5. And let's do forward lunges now. Hands on your hips or by your sides for out to the sides for balance. 30 seconds going now. Make sure that you're keeping your back straight. Make sure that your toes stay in a straight line with your ankles. You don't want the toes to turn out or for your ankles to turn in, which is easier said than done. I will tell you that. For most people, there's a decent amount of activity going on in terms of strength in the quad, and so the quad, I call the quad a bully in terms of your muscular system. It really does want to absorb the impact and the workload for a lot of other muscles around it. You don't want that to happen though. Okay, now down on the floor, crab kicks coming up here. Hands on the floor, fingers forward, hips up in the air into the tabletop, and alternate your kicks. Knee up, kick the foot out. Foot should be flexed. 30 seconds is going. And breathe. Your heart rate will get up a little bit. The heart is very confused by this position. So awkward for the human body to sit in this position for more than, well at all. But moving the body in this position is a surefire way to get your heart rate elevated a little bit. You've got about 5 seconds left. We'll finish off with the bent knee crunch. Coming up on that 12 and a half minute mark here. Okay, go ahead and put your hands behind your head, lay down on the floor on your back, feet in the air, knees bent. Last 30 seconds. Go. Make sure you breathe in as you are resting. Breathe out as you lift your head, your shoulders in the top of your rib cage. Squeeze those abs. Really focus on the contraction part and the control, especially as you switch directions. At that apex, when you get to the highest point, you don't want gravity to kick in and guide your body back down to start. You really want to control that change in course in order to focus on the contraction itself, and that is what builds power, builds strength, slims you down, does everything you want it to do. And you're done. Congratulations. 13 minutes. You are free to skip the gym today and have no guilt whatsoever. I'm Kim Watkins, your trainer from InShape Fitness. Please, again, if you have some ideas to what we're going to end up doing later in the week, let me know via Facebook or Twitter. And I will be back tomorrow for the level 3 workout for Wednesday. Have a great day.